to our Mentor Me panel. Today we have Simran and Sonali, and they're going to talk about their university. Why don't you guys both introduce yourselves?
Okay, so my name is Simran. My college is located in Washington University in St. Louis, not in Washington. And I'm studying computer science and business analytics at WashU, which is like a 4-year program.
Awesome.
Hi guys, my name is Sonali and my college is also located in St. Louis, and my course is 4 years long. It's an undergraduate degree, and I'm currently majoring in neuroscience and I'm pursuing the pre-med track.
What happens is I obviously wake up. Sometimes I rush to class because I wake up late, but there are a lot of food places on the way, so I'd probably pick up like a snack or pick up something like healthy in like the dining area, which is next to dorm. And then I head to class. One of the great things about WashU is that they have something called a circulator, which is kind of like a mini bus, which takes you from your dorm area to your campus area, even though it's like a 5-minute walk. But sometimes if you go to the end of the campus, it takes like 10-15 minutes. So also when it's like raining or snowing and you just don't feel like going, that's when I take the circulator. Very helpful, and it comes every like 5 minutes, so it's amazing. And then I either walk or take that. I obviously do all of my classes. There are like 4 or 5 libraries on campus, so during the breaks sometimes I go to those libraries. And then there's also one of the main libraries, which also has like a cafe in it, so if I'm ever hungry or I want to eat lunch or something, I go there. They also have like a main dining area called the Duck, which is where you get all of your like other cuisines food rather than just the cafe at the library. And then I come back to dorm. Sometimes I play the piano because we had a piano room inside our dorm, which is amazing because most of the other dorms didn't have that. So it was really nice. And then sometimes I would go for like office hours or like do some extracurricular activities or like go for volunteering. It really depends on the day. And then I would just, if it's like a weekend, hang out with my friends. There's a really nice place called The Loop, which you can go eat. And yeah, I want to keep this relatively short, but just hang out with your friends, just go for dinner in the BD or the Duck, whichever one. And yeah, that sums up my kind of relaxed day.
So I'll actually share one of my experiences that was one of the most stressful days at WashU. So I woke up, didn't have time to get breakfast because I had to get to my classes. So went to my class. I had like 3 or 4 classes that day, and it felt pretty long. And then after that, at 3 p.m., I had a lab, and that went to like that was like one of the longest labs we had to do. So it ran to like 6 or 7, and then after that, I had my Calc 2 exam. So that ran to like it was like depending on your own time, you can take your own sweet time and do the exam. So that was from like 7 to like 9. So my whole day I was just like working in labs, classes, and then an exam. So that's one of the most stressful days because I just kept moving. I didn't have time to eat and like relax. So I think just a tip, try to schedule your labs on days that don't conflict with your exams.
Yeah, definitely. And also look at like your final schedule before you confirm on a class, because you don't want them to like 3 finals on the same day. I didn't have to do that. My friends did, and I had to do that. So yeah.
Okay, so I would say the best part, I really love the community that they have at WashU. One of the reasons that I chose it was because when I was researching about these colleges, WashU was seen as really collaborative, and it definitely holds to its standards. There are so many people who are willing to help you, whether it be on like group projects or whether it just be to have a friend. Everyone's willing to collaborate. Even if they're in the same class with you, they'll definitely work on your homework with you. There's no sort of competition. It's like a healthy competition, but there's nothing that's like too great. So everyone's really collaborative, really nice, always willing to help you. Maybe the worst part, I wouldn't say it's about the university, but I don't like the weather. because St. Louis has like extreme weathers. So I like it when it's in the spring and the fall, but then in the winter it gets really cold. In the summer it's like too hot. So it's, for me personally, I don't like extreme weathers. Like I love the fact that it snows, but then it just stays cold for so many days that I don't like it. Um, yeah, and then maybe if I'm trying to think about something about the college, then I would probably talk about maybe sometimes the workload gets heavy, but that's also up to you as to how you want to balance your social and work life. So really depends on you and how you handle that.
I think that was a good answer. I would agree with everything you said. Um, the best part about WashU, I would definitely say would be the resources. Coming into WashU, all I heard was that it's a very supportive culture and there's so many resources that you can take advantage of. And that's what I did, considering I had to take challenging intro STEM courses, and you do need a lot of support and guidance through that. So even I found some of the questions and the approach difficult. So I would just hop into one of the peer mentoring sessions. There were programs like the PLTL program and the RPM program, and it's all like available, and it's all like widely available for undergraduates especially. And these really helped me. They really developed my problem solving and critical thinking skills, so I was better able to perform in exams. So that was super helpful. Something bad about the college, I wouldn't say there's really a worst part of WashU, but I would just say something I dislike would be the WashU sports. It's not really sports isn't really a big thing at WashU at all. So there isn't too much sports spirit.
Yeah, I think that's something important. I don't think it's important for everybody, but I think if you are interested in sports or like if you want to be interested in sports in America, it's an important thing to consider because UCSC doesn't really have that either.
So I would say the culture of students at WashU, everyone is definitely really welcoming and open to talk to others. So there are definitely a lot of social people. And I guess in college, there are always a couple of antisocial people you can't really do anything about. That just happens. And those are people who are just adjusting to college life and everything. So I would definitely say majority of the people are very social, very kind to talk to, always open, as I said, very collaborative environment. And then in terms of Greek life, there's definitely a lot of Greek life at WashU. Most of them are like professional fraternities and stuff, and like business ones. Those are like our most common, but there are also a lot of sororities. I'm involved in like a technical and social sorority, so it's like a combination, which is really nice because I get like the best of both worlds. So there's a lot of Greek life at WashU, and you can like choose to be a part of it or you can't. Either way, it's an amazing experience.
If I was talking about the people at WashU, I would definitely say collaborative. Um, a lot of people work together and they're always supporting one another and they're never like bringing each other down. And I saw this in like peer mentoring sessions or just sitting in a classroom with all of your classmates. They're very supportive. And I think people there's a wide variety of people. There's people who are social, people who are antisocial. So it really depends on the people you click with and the people you meet. But I think overall, it's a very, very supportive and very welcoming community at WashU.
I think for undergraduates and graduates, most of it's the same. They actually just have later classes for graduates. And not only that, but they also have most of the same resources. So they still have office hours, maybe not as many resources. Like we have something called RPM where we like have like an academic mentor and things like that. Maybe they don't have that. I'm not really too sure about that, but I know I've seen their office hours. I've seen that they have like TA office hours as well and professor office hours, and they have so many resources as well. So I think for the most part, we definitely are treated the same. They just have like a different type of schedule. I wouldn't know too many things about graduates. So I've only seen a couple of things, so that's the best I can say.
Yeah, I would just piggyback on what you said. But something I would like to add was for undergraduates, especially, a lot of the emphasis and focus is on freshmen because they're coming into the university for the first time and they're transitioning into university life. So I think there's a ton of support and for freshmen especially. So that's just, it's like not just focused on freshmen, obviously, but there is a ton of guidance for them, like coming into university life for the first time and transitioning.
Okay, so the best part I would say are the modern dorms. They look just like hotels and they are very spacious. All freshmen get like most of the freshmen get like doubles if you're in a modern dorm, and the space is amazing. It also looks really nice. The ceilings on the first and fourth floor of our building were really high, so that's something I enjoyed a lot because I lofted my bed like super high. I had to like jump up and get on the bed, but it really went well with the high ceiling. So it was a nice type of vibe that we had. Um, I also really like the facilities that we had in dorms. We had like piano rooms, as I mentioned before. We also have seminar rooms, and we have a basement where we have like a game room, and there's so many different things you can think of just to keep like students busy. One of the worst parts I would probably say is maybe in some of the traditional dorms, like their rooms are a little bit smaller, but that does help with the community a lot, and that helps students get together. And I can see like a connection that's not there in like the modern dorms, because students often like always meet outside in the halls. The rooms are so small that they spend their time like in the living room area and things like that. So there's really advantages to like both types of dorms.
I think the best part of housing, I would like to say the facilities, but I'd have to say definitely the Tempur-Pedic beds. That's something I was really looking forward to coming to WashU. The worst part of housing, I would say, some of the dorms can be pretty far from campus, from main campus, so it'd be quite a walk to get to campus and just commuting back and forth. So WashU guarantees housing for freshman and sophomore year, but after that, you are advised to find housing off campus in like apartments or someplace else.
So I think like in terms of like major wise, definitely a large part at the beginning is medical. I know a lot of students change their major later on to engineering. Um, Another very large part is like the business school. But a lot of people who major in the business school also major in another school, such as like engineering or something else. So there's a lot of like double majoring going on and like trying to figure out like what you're interested in. And then I also have like so many friends who are in the art school, which is amazing because they have like so many different new facilities that are opening up for all of these art schools, and it's just something that's definitely growing. Our engineering school is also growing. We just built like a couple of new buildings in the front of our campus. So I would say like though there is like a majority, there are so many people who do different things, so it like really doesn't matter because there are so many different things that go on. And then in terms of like international students, I would probably say that there's a good amount, like I think like 20%, 22% is international students. That's a pretty good amount. I've made some friends who are like from India, which is amazing.
I think there's a good variety, but I would say there are a ton of people pursuing the pre-med track. But of course, they're majoring in different things like chemistry, bio, or even something in the humanities. So there's a ton of different things that they're doing. About the diversity, I would say WashU accepts people from around the world. So I think there's a ton of diversity in who you meet and who you interact with. And even our friend group, there's people from around the world, and we interact with people who came from different parts of the.
So I would say definitely on the first day, people were very, very welcoming, but it does take quite a bit of time for students to adjust and call a place home, especially after you make a couple friends, after you find out like where everything is and you're not lost. I was literally lost on campus for like 2 weeks straight up, and I still like had a very bad sense of direction. But I think once you figure your way around everything, it does seem to become a place like home. So I would probably say one of the moments, this was like after, I think like the end of like first semester of freshman year. I was like walking around campus. It was like very late night with my friends, and I was like looking at the beauty of the campus, and I'm like, wow, this campus is so pretty. And there's this hall called Brookings Hall, which is like the face of WashU. So we would often go there, and I was like that's like when I fell in love with the campus. I was just like, wow, it's so pretty. And then I'm like, I definitely know this place is for me. I was like, I love the open space. I also love how the buildings look and everything like that. So I would say it was more of a realization rather than like a eureka moment. But that's when I felt like at most, home. So yeah.
I probably had a ton of moments, but I can share a few. So one of them would probably be when we were going to the Loop. It's an area right next to WashU where there are tons of restaurants and stores, and you can keep yourself really busy there. So we were all having dinner and just having great conversations. And I'm like, wow, this is a place I really want to be, and these are the friends and connections that I really want to make. And then another moment was when I was actually interacting with my professor, my general chemistry professor, and we were talking about her life, and then she was sharing stories and her experiences at WashU. And it was just the interaction which was so genuine and fun, and that was something that told me like this is the right place for you.
Yeah, so first thing first, when you apply, you can apply directly into the business school by just choosing a major that's in the business school. I applied through a program, so I was like, I'm kind of like half business, half engineering, so 50-50 in both. And when people like make fun of the business school, which they sometimes do, I guess, in like every university, I'm like, you can only make fun of like 50% of me. So um, I would say, yeah, so that's about like the enrollment. There are a lot of majors in business school because it's so popular and the professors are so renowned. It's amazing. There are also a lot of speakers and like so many resources that you have in the business school. In fact, there's a career center that's just for the business school. So I get the perks of that because I'm like in that program where I get the perks of like the business school and engineering. So it's like great. Um, so yeah, there's definitely a lot of different majors. Some people do double majors, some people do like a minor in like another school. So it's really up to them. There's a lot of diversity within the business school. It is kind of like a whole world on its own because we get treated very differently than like so many other schools. I know since the art sci population at WashU is so much bigger, the business school is a little bit smaller and it's a little bit harder to definitely get into because it's smaller. And I would say, I wouldn't say we get treated better, but like I don't know how to say it, but we get very like exotic foods and we get so many like
Can I
resources.
just interfere for a second? I was just gonna say that the engineering and business school are treated way better than the art science school because they get like WashU merch like when they came into WashU, and we didn't get anything. So we're like, that is not fair. And then they had like lunches and dinners at like exotic locations, and we're like, what are they gonna do for the art sci people? Like just throw them in the bin?
No,
It's
I guess you guys have like such a big population that it's really hard to handle you guys all at once. Another perk is that we get like extra printer money, which is amazing. So there are a lot of small perks here and there, but overall, like WashU definitely treats everyone amazingly.
Perfectly.
Yeah, so my program is 30 students because it's a program that started in when I joined. But there were like a lot of applicants, so it's like amazing to be part of a small program. And there are people from all over the US, so it's amazing to connect with these type of people on the same academic things that you're interested in as well. And even though sometimes I feel like lab rats, because it is the first year that we're doing this program, they handle it pretty well, and they give us the perks from both schools. So it's amazing in terms of that.
So I would say it was definitely a challenging and rigorous experience, at least the first like 3/4 of the year I had in person because of Corona. But it was pretty stressful because a lot of the intro STEM courses required you to look. I mean, even though I did IB higher level chemistry and biology, it required you to take a very different approach to what we learned in IB. So learning that and using that approach to a variety of questions was something I had to learn how to do and apply in the exams. So even like I mentioned, there are resources to help you, but it will definitely challenge you, and it will definitely be pretty stressful, which it was for me. And also juggling that with labs and your lab reports. And labs can be super long and tedious sometimes, but that's just the experience of doing a lab in person. And so overall, I would just say it taught me how to balance my time. Something else I would say would be taking advantage of your resources. That's something I wanted to also add on.
So I used to live in my first year, I used to live in a dorm called Koenig, and right outside our dorm is the WashU Police Department. So there's a police department just devoted to WashU, which is amazing because they just keep circulating campus. It's really nice because sometimes St. Louis is definitely not a safe city, and there are so many other cities like that in the United States which are not safe, so you can't really do anything about it. You just have to take your own precautions, and the university itself is doing a lot of things to do that. Just like I mentioned before, that there's a circulator that goes from our dorm to campus. There's also a circulator that goes from dorm to campus to the medical school, as well as to the Loop, which is the place where so many people go to eat at night and hang out and just go to restaurants and stuff. So I would definitely say there's a lot of increased awareness from the WashU Police Department. There's also a University City Police, which is University City is like right outside WashU. So if anything ever happens, both the polices will rush to your location. Another one of the things that's very unique to WashU is they have these like blue buttons all around campus, even in dorm, as well as the path to the loop. And the path to the loop is like a 10-minute walk, and they still have all of these poles with blue buttons, which is when you press the blue button, the police will get notified. So there's so many different things, but you also do have to take your own safety measures as well, such as maybe carrying something with you that makes you feel a little bit safer or something, or like maybe not going out alone at night. But it's definitely up to you, but WashU is definitely doing its part to ensure the safety of all of the students as well.
Yeah, I would say the campus is generally really safe. And like Simran said, there is a circulator to take you around, and it goes like to different parts of the campus as well. So it's pretty far distance wise, and you can really use that to your advantage. And I would also say that there's the campus police, but they're located like literally in the middle of the campus. So they're always patrolling and making sure that undergraduates are safe. And they also recently built like a path from campus to the Loop nearby, which is really lighted, and it's really safe for students to go. So that's something we used as well when we were on campus in the fall.